everybody, Dana here again with more Tuesday tips for leaders of volunteers, and it is June. June is known as Pride Month, Gay Pride Month, although LGBTIA+ is another way to represent that. And June also contains the holiday Juneteenth. And I'm mentioning these because this week I'm talking about you as an individual or your organization really being a good ally to historically excluded groups versus washing something just once in a while, being a fair weather friend or following a marketing trend versus kind of sincere support of groups in our community and different demographics. So rainbow washing is the term for, typically corporations do this the most, and it's the most egregious examples of just kind of slapping a rainbow on something or some other version of a gay pride flag and saying that they're supporters without really doing the work consistently the rest of the year. And in the worst cases, organizations, whether they're nonprofits or government agencies or large corporations or little small town companies, whatever size organization, the worst case is when there's a sudden seasonal slapdash rainbow on something, or for Juneteenth, or for Women's History Month in March, or Asian and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month in May, just kind of throwing something together when the agency's policies and practices are actually causing harm most of the time to that community. So this is a good chance to kind of check amongst yourselves and see, can you call yourself as a person with an organization an ally, or is that just kind of a fair weather friend just kind of hitting a hashtag trend to get some extra outreach, recruitment, or in the case of corporations, marketing materials for June? So anyone from the community that you're trying to do that with, wash, and for women it's pink washing, and there's some other terms too. We see right through that. That's BS. And everybody sees that that's just a very fake, crass marketing ploy when it isn't backed up in the community with real work on tough topics, really putting the work in and having words and actions aligned in consistent allyship and support of, again, that historically excluded community, whatever that may be. But for the sake of Pride and being representative of it, I'm talking about Pride in June. So the other piece that people who want to be allies can have a misstep about is you don't actually get to call yourself an ally unless that's given to you as a title by the group that you think you're supporting or serving in the community. So straight people calling themselves allies, well, that's great, and most of the time it's harmless, but check amongst yourselves as individuals and with your organization. Are there things you're doing or things that your agency or nonprofit is doing that are actually causing harm most of the time? Is there real world discrimination and bias or microaggressions that are happening to different members of these communities within your volunteer teams, within the agency? Are you partnered successfully with other community organizations if it's not your main mission or focus to serve one of these groups? Are you partnered with other sister agencies that really do this work day to day? If so, that's great. Congratulations, I get to call you an ally in this work together. But just saying you're an ally and throwing a hashtag around or throwing a rainbow on something in June does not make it so. We really want to align the words and the actions in consistent support. And there's a careful balance between checking in with members of any, again, historically excluded or oppressed community and not having that person or that small group of people within your team do too much extra work or emotional labor. So before you put something on for Juneteenth or slap a rainbow on something, or for Women's History Month in March, pink wash something and slap pink all over it to promote it, make sure that it kind of passes the sincerity test by someone from that community. And again, balancing, is that person the one person from that group in your team that always has to do that work, not such a good idea. Maybe then extend a sincere partnership offer or cooperation, collaboration with other community organizations who are from that particular demographic that you want to do outreach to. There's a really famous, infamous example from the corporate side of usually stores like Bed Bath & Beyond or Kohl's getting Jewish holidays horribly wrong, like throw pillows or cups or things like that. And so we see kind of, cultural missteps happen quite a lot on a corporate marketing level, but nonprofits are not immune, and certainly government agencies are not immune. So the kinds of organizations that are utilizing volunteer teams, this is something to just be aware of, that you don't call yourself an ally until you're really doing that work and the group that you're working with says, yeah, we consider you an ally or a collaborator or a co-conspirator or a co-creator or whatever applies to the work that you're doing together to move something forward in a positive way. And I also want to acknowledge that maybe you have a seat at the leadership table at your organization and maybe you don't, but you are probably in charge of the biggest team or department as far as personnel or headcount, as it's often referred to, for the number of volunteers that you're leading, managing, and engaging in the community. So you do have that kind of power of the people to leverage any positive changes for outreach, for how you're handling marketing, recruitment materials, and again, ideally aligning with a positive message that isn't rainbow washing with the rest of your agency's marketing or PR department. And I've talked about that a lot on this channel, and specifically Tuesday Tips before, of the need to align the messaging. So I hope that you have a great June and Pride and Juneteenth and everything else that you might be celebrating, and that you enjoy these Tuesday Tips every week. We'll see you next time.